Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. Let us continue with our chapter, that is overview of computer. Before we proceed, we'll have a quick glance on the previous topics what we have covered. The generations of computer. In that we had discussed about the fourth generation. So as we know, the first generation was using the main electronic component was vacuum tube, second generation was using transistor, the third generation was using the ICs, that is integrated circuit. In the fourth generation, that is the present generation, we are using the microprocessor. A person known as Ted Hoff developed the microprocessor. In the year of 1981, IBM introduced its first ever personal computer. So this microprocessor were made up of thousands of ICs, that is integrated circuits, which was being built upon a single silicon chip. So from this fourth generation onwards, we had started using the chips for the memory, and we were using keyboards and mouse for the input and monitor and printers for the output purpose, and therefore these fourth generations were much faster, smaller and very less expensive comparatively to the previous generations of computer. Next we had discussed about the fifth generation computer, that is it will be based upon the artificial intelligence. So here in the fifth generation, the things which are being yet to be developed in the fifth generation computers systems were they were giving more importance for the storage technology, a lot of importance to the development of supercomputers. Supercomputers are the fastest computers in the world actually. So their processing capacity is very fast. It is in terms of trillions. Okay, trillions of instructions will be executed in 1 second, and there will be more importance towards the networking technology, and the systems would be definitely much more reliable, faster comparatively all the previous other generations of computer system. And definitely there will be more importance given to the development of robotics as well. Next, we had discussed about the classification of computers. So herein we had discussed about the classification of computer based upon the principles of operations. If they are asking, then we have to write the classification of analog, digital as well as hybrid computers. So what is this analog computers? So here the analog computers, all the computations will be carried out based upon the physical quantities such as voltage, length, current and temperature. Examples are voltmeter, speedometer and thermometer. As we have already discussed, the analog computers will be extensively they will be used in the scientific and industrial applications, mainly to monitor the pressure, voltage, temperature, like nuclear power plants, ice factories, food factories, etc. Then we had discussed about the digital computers. So the digital computers will always deal with the bits, that is in the form of zeros and ones. So all the operations will be carried out in the form of these bits. Alright. So the digital computers are much more faster and comparatively to the analog computers, and they are more accurate. So this digital computers are extensively used in the business and scientific application. Next we had discussed about the hybrid computers. Hybrid computers is the combination of both the analog as well as the digital computers, wherein it is capable of accepting the data in the form of analog as well as digital, and later as per the data required, it may convert the analog signals to the digital to the analog. All right. So these hybrid computer systems are specially used to perform some specialized task. That means they are being extensively used for some specific purpose. Like they are extensively used in the hospitals, where the analog part, it is responsible for measuring the patient's, blood pressure. Okay, they are extensively used in the intensive care units. Some of the examples of modern hybrid computers are digital watch, okay, electronic weighing machines, digital speedometer. These are the few of the example. Later we had discussed about the classification of digital computers, which is in terms of purpose wise. So herein under the purpose wise, they has discussed about the special purpose. So special purpose, the computers are being designed for the specific purpose where only one particular problem it can solve at a one point of time. So the special purpose computers are not versatile. That means they are being developed only for one intended purpose. They are not developed for to perform the different kinds of tasks. Example, we have seen the blood pressuring monitoring system. Then next we had discussed about the general purpose computer system. This computer general purpose system will be designed to work on different types of application. That means it can work upon by using different applications, as we have seen the PowerPoint, Adobe Photoshop, okay, any online gaming, different kinds of gaming, okay, Microsoft Office suite it will work. So different kinds of applications it will work upon, and therefore the general purpose computer systems are versatile in nature. Next we are going to discuss about the classification of computer, that is based upon the size and performance, or you can even refer it as based upon the configuration wise. Alright, first we shall discuss about the microcomputers. So this microcomputers actually introduced in the year of 1970. So they can also be referred to as the personal computer. So as I said, in the year of 1981, the IBM was the first company to provide the personal computer. Alright, so this microcomputers are designed to meet the computing needs of an individuals in order to fulfill the personal task of individuals. In the sense what? In order to perform some personal task. Okay, these microcomputers are being developed. So herein the microcomputers consist of input devices, output devices. It consists of the storage devices, processor, as well as the memory. So they can have the access to the variety of applications, say for example word processing, photo editing, okay, email, the spreadsheet, okay, PowerPoint, Chrome, Adobe Reader. So it can access the variety of applications. Some of the examples of microcomputers are Apple and Macintosh. Further, these microcomputers are being further divided in terms of desktop and the portable computers. So before we proceed with the different types of microcomputers, we shall discuss where exactly these microcomputers are extensively used. These microcomputers are the most common type computers which are extensively used in the offices, homes and organization. So microcomputers are also used in the business and engineering applications, okay, wherein like manufacturing, any assembly or any fabrications if are there, therein the microcomputers are being extensively used. Let us see its classification. Further, as I said, the microcomputers are being classified based upon the desktop computer system and portable. Desktop computers are those computers that will fit onto the table or the desktop. So usually the desktop computer systems will come in two models here, children. The first model is the desktop model and the second model is the tower model. So these desktop computer, the desktop models, where the system unit is being placed onto the desktop, you can see here. This is actually the the desktop model here, wherein the system unit, this is a system unit. The system unit is being placed onto the table and monitor is being placed onto this particular system unit. So this is one of the example for the desktop model. Whereas in case of the tower model, this is an example for the tower model where both the monitor and the system unit are being placed individually onto the table. So the desktop computers are those computers which will fit onto your table or the desktop. They have two models, one is desktop model and the tower model. Alright, the next one is the portable computer system, which is a type of again microcomputer. So it is a kind of personal computer that could be easily carried from one place to another. So when I say that the systems which can be carried from one place to the another, you can get an idea. examples like laptops. Okay, the notebooks and the handheld computers are the examples for the portable computers. Notebook like laptop you can say, handheld devices if you are saying smartphones, palm tops, okay, tablets, all these are the examples of the portable computers. Now let us see the next type of classification, that is the mini computers. So what are these mini computers? When they had come into existence, it was introduced in the year of 1960s. So these mini computers are much more larger and more powerful than the personal computers. Have a look of this. This is the older model of mini computer system. So it is very large and powerful, as I said. So wherein it can execute almost around 5 million instructions per second, and this mini computer usually consists of 2 or more processors in it. Therefore, they are more powerful comparatively to the personal computers. So, this mini computers can serve up to 4,000 connected users simultaneously. In the sense what? At a time it can give the service or the access to the 4,000 connected users. Okay, and it can execute about 5 million instructions per second. So obviously its speed will be very fast. Okay, these mini computers will be designed for mainly for real-time applications. Okay, to handle real-time. What is these real-time application? Real-time application means the application that immediately responds to the user. Say for an example, video conferencing, okay, online gaming, chatting, Gmail. Isn't it you are getting an immediate response back from the other end? So to handle the real-time applications, these mini computers are being designed. So this mini computers also supports for the multi-users at a time. That means you can more than one user they can use the mini computers at the same time. We can access this mini computer system via the personal computer system or the terminal. That means, as I said, 4,000 connected users simultaneously it is providing you the service. Suppose if I have to connect to the mini computer system, then you can connect it by having the personal computer system. By you need to request for some service which will be given by the mini computer or terminal. What is terminal? Terminal is nothing but a device with a monitor and a keyboard is called as the terminal. Say some of the examples of mini computers are VAX 8800, AS 400, okay, Sun Ultra and IBM RS 6000. So these are some of the examples that mini computers had come into existence, and they have been extensively used by medium-sized companies to provide centralized store of information. Suppose if you want to store the information at the central location and multiple users can access it simultaneously, if such is a scenario, then they can use the mini computers. I hope the concept you are understanding. Alright, now let us move on to the next computer, that is mainframe computers. The mainframe computers had introduced in the year of 1975. So these mainframe computers, when you are looking, see these are the different types of mainframe computers. So okay, they are very large and more expensive. Now these mainframe computer consist of multiple processor. Okay, the users can access these mainframe computers through the terminal or the personal computer. Like as I said, if you want to connect and access these are the mainframe computers. Okay, if you want to access, these are the today's modern mainframe computers. If you want to access the contents or the resources from the mainframe computers, then either you can use one personal computer or again a terminal. As I said, it's a device which is having its own monitor and the keyboard. So this mainframe computers will having the multiple processor. In mini, as I said, it may have 2 or more processors into it. So when the mainframe computer system is having more than multiple processor, definitely its speed will be very fast, isn't it? So this mainframe computers are mainly designed to perform the multiple tasks for the multiple users at the same time. So multiple tasks at the multiple users, in the sense what, simultaneously you can execute more than one application programs you can run. Okay, and simultaneously more number of people can make use of this mainframe computers. So therefore these mainframe computers can serve up to 50,000 users at the same time. Whereas what was about in case of the mini computers, almost around we had 4,000 connected users could be connect simultaneously, but here it could be allowed for 50,000 users at the same time, and it has the capacity to execute 16 million instructions per second. See, when I said 16 million instructions, so very fast it is having the capacity to execute. So these are the more, they are the more powerful computers comparatively to the mini computers. So some of the examples of that is the mainframe computers are NEC 610, DEC 10. Okay, that is DEC is Digital Equipment Corporation System 10. So some names have been IBM's S390. Okay, so you can see here, this is the IBM S390 mainframe computer systems. These are, I hope you are understanding. Then where these mainframe computer systems are used, these mainframe computer systems will be used in the large organization, like for example in the airlines. For usually the mainframes are being used for the flight scheduling, for the ticket reservation, okay, and in the other cases to maintain the information regarding the population. Their mainframe computer systems are being extensively used even in the banks also, to record the transaction, to process the ATM and checks, okay, and like for example RBI, HDFC, okay, all, and the software companies like HCL, TCS, Wipro, all these are using the mainframe computer system. Apart from this, they might be also used in the commercial purpose, like for the stock exchange, telecommunication, okay, then research centers they are being used, banks, education, government departments. So they are the mainframe computer systems are being extensively used. So I hope the concept related to the mainframe computers are clear, its features and where exactly these mainframe computers are being used. Now let us discuss about the next, that is supercomputers. So supercomputers were being introduced in the year of 1980s. So these supercomputers are being designed for ultra high performance tasks. So these supercomputers are ultra high performance task, means these are to be considered as the most advanced and the fastest computer and the most powerful computer than any other computer system, like comparatively to the mini mainframe. This supercomputers is to be considered as the fastest computers and the most advanced computers. So these supercomputers are very large, and they are most expensive computers in the world, okay, when you're comparing to the any other computers. So this supercomputers are more complex and advanced, and they have a very large storage capacity. So these supercomputers can process trillions of instructions per second. Okay, so some of the examples of the supercomputers are IBM's Deep Blue, okay, Tata's Eka, okay, that is also Indian supercomputers. These are IBM's Deep Blue, Tata's Eka, Param, Yuva, Titan. These are the Indian supercomputers. Okay. Earlier, Tata's Eka supercomputers, okay, which is located in Pune, okay, it is at the Computational Research Laboratory, was being considered as the India's fastest supercomputer because its performance was around in terms of 132.8 teraflops. So usually the speed of the supercomputers are being measured in terms of flops, 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 that is floating point operations per second. I'll repeat. Usually the speed of supercomputers are being measured in terms of the flops, that is floating point operations per second. Earlier, the Tata's Ekas to be considered as the Indian fastest supercomputer. All right. Back to back again the different supercomputers, like Param had come into existence, then Yuva supercomputer came into existence in the year of 2010. Actually, Tihani 1A was the fastest supercomputer in the world, which was being developed by China. And some of the examples of the supercomputers are Cray XP, ETA 10, okay, Deep Blue. These are the some of the supercomputers. So supercomputers are being usually developed by the companies such as Cray, IBM, HP. So these are some of the companies. Then for the today's, actually, which is the fastest Indian supercomputer previous year? Okay, in the year of like initial of 2020, Pratyush was being considered as the fastest Indian supercomputer, which has been actually used for the weather forecasting. Okay, if it was actually used for weather forecasting, which has been placed in Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorological. There it was actually being placed. Now for the today's, as per the November 2020, Param Siddhi AI is the Indian fastest supercomputer. Okay, so Param Siddhi AI, in the sense that is artificial intelligence, it has been ranked 63rd most powerful supercomputer in the world in the top 500 list as per the November 2020. Okay, Param Siddhi AI stands for artificial intelligence. This is the fastest Indian supercomputer. Then which is the fastest supercomputer in the world is Fugaku. Okay, Fugaku is the fastest computer in the entire world, which is being built by Japanese people. All right, now this supercomputer was being actually primarily designed by a computer scientist known as the Seymour Cray at Control Data Corporation. A person known as Seymour Cray, he actually designed the first supercomputer at Control Data Corporation. Then where exactly these supercomputers are being used, for what they are being designed? Supercomputers are extensively used for the specialized application that requires the immense amount of mathematical calculation, students. Okay, now let us see some of the uses of the supercomputers. They have been extensively used in the weather forecasting. Okay, so in order to predict the climate change, these supercomputers are extensively used. They are extensively used in the animated graphics. Okay, and they are extensively used in the nuclear energy research, wherein the nuclear weapons will be tested. So there we are using extensively the supercomputers. They are also used in the space science for the research purpose. They are extensively used in the weapon and missile designing. Okay, wherein the scientific research will be carried out. Okay, therein, and they are extensively used in the research laboratories. They are used in the petroleum exploration. Apart from this, they are also being extensively used in the biological research laboratories, military agencies. Okay, major universities, their supercomputers are extensively used to maintain their data. They are being used in the aircraft companies, okay, to simulate the aircraft and to check its performance. So wherever some immense calculations are being needed, there extensively the supercomputers are being used. So these supercomputers are to be considered as the world's fastest and the advanced computer system. So this was all about the classification of computer. Children, this is very, very important 5 marks question from your exam point of view. Give the classification of computer. If they are asking for 2 marks, the diagram is sufficient. If they are asking for 5 marks, give the classification of computer based upon the size and performance, or based upon the configuration. You need to mention about the features of microcomputer and its uses, at least one example. Similarly for mainframe, okay, and mini as well as the supercomputers. I hope the concept is clear. So we shall meet with the new concepts in the next video class. Thank you, students.